so we're now well into coordinate geometry where we've been looking at this plane and how we can describe points on it. I'm going to draw two coordinates now. I'm going to place one on the -3, 2. Okay, and I'm going to place another coordinate point on the 2, -2. So I'm going to call the first coordinate point A. And A is the point, or the coordinate, -3, 2. And I'm going to call the second coordinate, this one here, B. And B is the point 2 and -2. So again, I go along as far as 2, down as far as -2. I'm now going to connect A to B. Okay. And if I connect A to B, that now becomes the line AB. And previously, we've looked at finding the distance of AB. Today, what we're looking at is we're looking at finding a new keyword, and that keyword is the midpoint. Okay, so the key is all in the word, and if you have a look, we're talking about the midpoint. So we're actually asked to find the midpoint of the line AB, and that really means the middle or the halfway point. Remember our word point? We've met this before, and a point is another word for a coordinate, which means we need an x value and a y value. Now I could really kind of guess here, where would the middle be? It might be around here. Probably not exactly there. If I had a compass or if I had a ruler, I could probably figure it out. But what if I had neither of those things and I had to find the midpoint, the halfway point of this line? And in mathematics, we have a formula to satisfy this. Okay, so you can see here example 1. A is equal to 1 minus 2 and B is equal to -3, 4, and they are 2 points. And we're asked to find the keyword here, midpoint of AB, and also to remember that these symbols here, these square brackets kind of, they also mean find the midpoint. Okay, so I'm going to follow the same steps as I've done the whole time. I'm going to list the 3 steps here. Step 1, label your points. Step 2, write the formula. And step 3, sub in and solve. So again, they're the same points as we've done with the distance formula. So I'm going to label my points first of all. My first point is A, which is 1 and -2. And my second point is B, which is -3 and 4. And I label as I've done before. This is my first x value, so x1, my first y value, y1, my second x value, and my second y value. So x1, y1, x2, y2. The second thing is I'm going to write the formula, and again, we don't need to know this off by heart. It will be given to us on the day of the exam. And the formula is x1 plus x2 all divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 all divided by 2. Why is there a comma? Well, obviously, we're looking to find the midpoint, which means we're actually looking to find a coordinate. So that's where the comma comes from. Why are we dividing by 2? Well, hopefully we figured out that we're looking for the halfway point, the middle. Okay, so you've got your formula, you've labelled. Now we just need to sub in and solve, and always be careful if we've got minus numbers here. So instead of writing x1, I'm going to write 1 plus, instead of writing x2, I'm going to write -3. So 1 plus -3 all over 2, comma, instead of writing y1, I'm going to write -2, plus, instead of writing y2, 4. And that's always over 2. All right, we do a little bit of tidying up now. So it is 1 plus -3 becomes 1 minus 3, all over 2, comma, -2 plus 4 is going to give me 2 all over 2, and I can then just tidy this up a little bit. So we have 1 minus 3 gives me -2, and so I have -2 over 2, which I can break down to -1. And then here I have 2 over 2, which I can break down to 1. And so the midpoint of these 2 points, the halfway point, is the coordinate -1, 1. Okay, so sometimes they might not ask us for the midpoint of certain points. They might say find AB. And as I said before, those open square brackets are another word for midpoint. Sometimes they might say find this point here. If you have a straight line and another line goes down halfway through, they might say it bisects. And so bisects is another word for it meets it in the middle. So they might be asking you then to find this point here, if that was the case. Another word for midpoint might be in relation to a circle. So I know we haven't done a huge amount of work on circles just yet, but the point in here is the middle of a circle. And if I was to draw a diameter of a circle, which means it goes through the center point, and I was to say, well, this is the point 3 and 2, and this is the point, say, 7 and 2. And if I was asked to find the center of the circle, another word for center is obviously halfway between the diameter, and so that is another word for midpoint as well. So it can come up in loads of different ways. You're looking for the center, the middle, the halfway point, where it bisects. All of those words are asking you to find the midpoint, so to be aware of that. Okay, so example 2 is an unusual one in the sense that we're given A is 1 and 3, and C is 2 and 5, and there are 2 points. We're told that in this line, C is actually the midpoint. So if I was to draw a line like this, this is what A is. We're told A is 1 and 3. I'm told that the midpoint is C, and in that case it's 2 and 5. And I'm asked, okay, well, if that's the midpoint, what is B? How am I going to figure that out? Well, the whole idea is that I recognize that this represents halfway. And I'm going to look, first of all, at the x-coordinates. So this is x1. This is the x-coordinate. This is the x-coordinate. I'm going to have my open brackets here. And this is the x-coordinate. And so if you see, we go from 1 to 2 here. And that is halfway. So if we were to continue on, what would be the full way? We can see here that it goes from 1 to 2. So the x-coordinate goes up by +1. So the next x-coordinate, if that was halfway, would be plus another 1. So in this case, it would be 3. To look at the y-coordinate, so in the first one, in A, we've got the y is equal to 3. In C, y is equal to 5. And we're asked, so what's the y-coordinate of B? Again, this is the halfway point. So if it moves to halfway, and halfway is from the y-coordinate +2, it must mean that from 5 onwards is also +2. And the midpoint has been told to us in this case, but the end point is 3, 7. And I got that by going 5 + 2 is 7. If 3 + 2 is 5, 5 + 2 is 7. So that's just another way that question can be asked. And what you're looking to do there is you're looking to just spot the pattern if this is halfway between each. Okay, so tonight's learning check is find the midpoints of the line segments joining the following pairs. So your first point is 3 and 2, 5 and 4, and you need to find the midpoint of 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 of those sums. And be aware that you're dealing with minus numbers here, so be careful. If you have a minus by a plus, it's going to give you a minus. A minus by a minus will give you a plus. And any variation of those is the same. Okay, I'll see everybody tomorrow.